Good evening. Ira Epstein with your financial market wrap-up, and this wrap-up is for Wednesday, and this is the 13th of April, 2022, getting on to 625. You know, I couldn't help thinking today, I was watching the markets, I'm going, what a day for a daydream. What a day for a daydreaming boy, maybe girl. And why was I thinking it? Because I was thinking of yesterday. And I'm watching the PPI number come out this morning, and it was a hot number, just like the CPI number was, and the market rallied the same way that it did yesterday morning. So then I got on my singing part and I said, okay, I started daydreaming about yesterday. Is the market going to fail about midway through this rally day? It did not. And that's where that song came from. So the market is doing a couple of things. I explained in the metal section what I thought, and I'll repeat it. Inflation is going to run hot for a while here. You don't have your situation in supply-demand channels remotely resolved. Is China in a full lockdown? It is. Shanghai, a city of 25, 26 million people, they're just letting in stages the financial hub area reopen. The rest of the city shut down. Let's just take that center. You got 25 million people that want to buy food, groceries, medicines, and they can't. Everything is closed. They're living very dangerously. They're hoping to get delivery services that aren't working. I have been reading the reports. At least that's what I'm reading. Do I know? I don't live there, but I am reading reports of people in America in the Wall Street Journal that have family there, and they are explaining just what their families are going through. That I do believe. That's reality. The point that I'm making is there's going to be a pent-up demand within China to go back to work, to get the groceries, to get the medicines, and life to get back to normal. Let's take that, called a microcosm, and spread it throughout the country into the cities where they have shut down factories and so on. So wherever that's spread, that's the issue they're getting. That means we're going to see the iron ore demand come back, the copper demand come back, factories roll out. They're going to need electricity. Everything's needed to run all this. The country's going to grow again, and I promise you, the Chinese government isn't just going to look at this. They'll throw money at it to make sure it happens because they want everything to continue good. Well, my point of all this is that the goods they send, remember, they're still sending a massive amount of goods that we need in America. I told you I ordered a plate. It's called a vinyl plate that you put onto your house. I have some siding, and I want to put a fixture up, replace what I've got. So I had to wait 10 days to get it because the good is made in China, and they needed to get it. I got it today. But back order was the issue. Well, let's multiply that times many other things. And that's what's going to happen. So the inflation story that I was leading you up to is we may peak with inflation now, next month. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's not going to suddenly do this and drop back. You don't have the supply chains finished. Everything to make it costs more, from labor to the price of fuel, which dictates, as you know, plastic prices. I can go on and on. Petroleum sets a lot of prices. So here's how I think you handle and build this in. Inflation is high, and it will stay relatively high until the supply chains starts really refilling. We don't see shutdown after shutdown taking place again at the factories abroad that send us goods. Plus, we have to deal with the situation of the war with Ukraine, the Russian oil that is going to be slowly drifting off. I was reading the IEA report, and they are absolutely claiming that that's going to be the case, and that relatively high prices of oil are here to stay because the market is not going to be having an excess amount. Okay, build that into your thinking. That's what I'm saying. We don't have to see increased inflation. It's just going to stay high for a while. That's what I think you think about. As for the S&P, we are down 1% for the week so far. That is not the end of the earth. I wrote a report backdated and said that the month of April, if we come here to April 1st, this is the target date. Will the market close for the month higher than April 1st? That number was on the close 45.39 and a quarter. That's all I care about. And that'll tell me if the market, and by the way, that's 100 points from here, very doable. the 13th to the end of the month, and I am not saying buy here, it has to go up. Please don't accept that. I am waiting for a buy signal on a chart to develop to go with the seasonals, to go with the fact that out of 25 years, 20 years in April have ended up with gains. In 15 years in a row, we have seen gains from April 7th to the 29th. That does not mean it has to happen again. And I am not blind. I wait for the chart setups. Now, what will tell me the market on the current pattern is out of the bear trend is taking out this arrow's high. It doesn't mean we're in an uptrend, but that breaks the downtrend. Next, I see where the resistance is. Here's your whole battle. It fights from 45.0546, then the 200-day average, and then to 45.10, the 100. This is the whole resistance point the market's got to fight with. When I take a look at support, you're there. This doesn't mean you can't break it, but you're there. When you hit the Bollinger Band, and I said this to you this week very clearly, I said, I think the pros came out of their shorts. I think they did it in all the stock indices this week. The S&P hit it, oversold, you hit the Bollinger Band. Let's go to the next, the NASDAQ. Oversold, you hit the Bollinger Band, you're getting your bounce. Micro Mini Dow. Hit the Bollinger Band, getting your bounce. Again, those same moving averages are over the market right here. And in the Russell, you actually began hitting it last week, but you did it again for good measure, and you're oversold. And I look at the 2048 as the resistance. So the consistent path that I'm having is that I've hit numbers that should offer support. That does not mean long-term uptrend. It's enough maybe this level of the decline is run its course. Then I look to see what the VIX did. If you step back with me, right here you hit the upper Bollinger Band yesterday. This is in past history. You're not embedded. That's where I think the pros are going to come out of the market. Where's the support? The 18-day average of closes. Again, in those moving averages. Does this look like a breakout one way or the other? No. And as such, it gives the stock indices maybe a reason they can get their footing under them for a bit. There's nothing here that's really changed dramatically in the bonds. It's flirting with the idea of trying to lose the embedded reading to get a bear market rally. Why is it a bear market rally? Because you're still under the 18-week average, and that sets the bias in the market. When you're under it, you're bearish, looking for reasons to be short. Is this the reason? Well, you're going to have to make up your mind if that is the case. I can tell you in the 10-year note, no, you lost the embedded reading. So here's the market on the close today. Here's tonight. Will it stay lost? Getting a 28 reading is a big reading right off the bat, just so you know. It's going to be hard to get back under it. You could do it, but it's not enough reason to get yourself all bent out of shape. Where I'd have been bent out of shape is on the close today. You're pretty close to losing that reading, and you lose it right on the open. You're probably going back to the 18-day average. If you keep a reading over 21, out you go. Be careful. The 5-year note was the takeout yesterday. It lost the embedded reading, and it didn't get it back today. Dollar index coming down, and where's the battle? You hear me tell you this over and over. If you learn how to work with Bollinger Bands, this is not the spot the pros buy at on the band, but they will look at the pullback, and if you can stay embedded, when you reopen, they're going to take a hard look at it. If the market loses the embedded reading, they won't be a hero and say, oh, I'm going to buy it right now. It'll get back to embedded. Just wait selling the bonds if they get up in tonight and lose the embedded reading. You don't have to be a hero going, it's going to regain it. Does that make sense? I hope it does. In the eurocurrency, the market is flirting with trying to lose the embedded reading, but it hasn't done it. I think the pros are selling the short. You're open. You're 2 points away from it. I think they'll probe the short side with it tonight. If it loses it over 21 on the close, they'll be gone. They won't be short anymore, which will likely lead to a bounce then to the 18-day average. But until it's lost, the market's still targeting the 108.18 level, the lower Bollinger Band. British pound, oversold market that got a heck of a bounce back to the 18-day average. Now, what did it do? Once this market took out the zero, today was the key day you had to look. Were we embedded? So let's go and take a look. Certainly not Wednesday, but Let me get you here. Embedded, but not embedded, just oversold. You never got the several days in a row. So you have an oversold market that here is where I think the professional covered his shorts, and I don't think he's done anything. I think he's just waiting, seeing if it's going to hang in there. Today's action and tonight's action are back to the 18-day average. You have nothing in the market. You know what you're really in? You're caught in the sideways action of, again, the Bollinger Bands going nowhere. Be careful. This market is not going to offer a lot of rewards right here. It's going to offer contra-trend trading. In the Bitcoin, I said that yesterday. I told my subscribers, I think I said it to you, I think the pros came out of the market. First challenge of the lower Bollinger Band in a downtrend where you're not embedded. You've got to learn the embedding and how to work with the Bollinger Band. It's on our web course, on our education area at www.iraepstein.com. Just go to education, learn. I can't make it any clearer to you. You get the feel for this, and you can do all this yourself. You don't need me. In the Brent versus WTI crude, you can see how the market's coming down. It's still definitely narrowness in the market, still a $5 spread, and you're out of your downtrend. Let me walk you through this. Here you have a market making lower highs, lower lows, oversold. Not everything will get to the lower band. I wish it did. I teach that though you break that pattern, get through that high, you don't want to be short anymore. That's not a reason to be long. It's a reason not to be short. You got that yesterday. Okay. If the market turns, the battleground likely is the 18-day average of closes, and that's where you're at right now. WTI. It's the same thing. Coming down right through here, not necessarily hitting the Bollinger Band. There'll be some window envelopes likely doing it, but you're oversold. At the bare minimum, at the basics, if you're a chart analyst, the basics, what breaks the bear pattern on a swing line? Taking out that high. You've broken the lower high, lower low pattern. Where might you go to get neutral? The 18-day average of closes, the thing we call the line in the sand here. You break it. Today, you go right to it, and this is the battleground you're fighting. Pretty simple. Heating oil is different. Heating oil market got oversold, and it's overbought, and it's caught in this, and it's refusing to get to the lower band. It's keeping a very bullish bias. What's the other word for heating oil? Jet fuel? Distillates? Oh. We're all going to be flying all spring and summer. Natural gas. I'm watching, unfortunately, traders within my company trying to pick tops. I don't get it. It goes against everything I've ever taught. You're fully embedded. You're looking to be a buyer, not a seller. And I'm watching people that just don't get it. They're fighting the market, going, I'm going to catch the break. Guess what? Lose with the trend, buy the break, and have the market go further and knock you out to the downside than picking a top on a Gorilla Glue trade. This is it. This is when you go to the hardware store and you buy that Gorilla Glue and you put it on this Bollinger Band, and until it's over, it ain't over, friends. And the market just every day goes to it. You think you're picking a top. Number one, why aren't you trading with the trend? Number two, it's locked itself in. When it's over, it's over. What else? The fundamentals are behind it. We, America, are going to become the natural gas kings to the world right now. Okay, in spite of the Biden administration's crazy energy policy that I wish he would lighten up on dramatically, and he can do it. Get the legacy of really taking that over, become what Europe needs. We can do all this. Europe wants us to do it. Let's throw more behind this and really get this going. That's my thing. And it is not, you're right, Ira for president. I'm too old. I'll end up walking like him. I don't want to do that, you know. I'm young yet, but you get it. We need young people to run the country, not guys my age. That isn't what you need at all. So let's talk about a little turkey here, because I want you to get my full research. It's simple. In my research, you're going to get 2 market letters a day. I write in bullet form. If you see me here, I do everything quick. You're going to get the reports. You're going to get the highlights of reports that have come out, my analysis of them, and we move right on. If you can't read my report in 2 minutes, I've done something very wrong. It's meant to be written and read that way, but it makes you think. Then you might go on and say, hey, I'll go to Reuters, I'll go to Dow, I'll go Newswires, I'll go to Bloomberg. I'm going to find out, what is Ira talking about here? Read the bigger stories. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that leads you to those stories and ideas about trends. That's what it's about. I do it in a way, I back up what I'm saying with my subscriber videos. Let me give it to you free. Try it. How do you do that? Take your cursor, move it up to the top here, give it a click, and you're done. Can it be any easier than that? I'm Ira. You have a good day.